I teach human anatomy to the DPT students here at Elon University in the School of Health Sciences. And I work with some really amazing colleagues who I don't get to meet until after they're no longer alive. These are people who have donated themselves for anatomy education or research. And they typically work with our students for 1 to 2 years. So I have been teaching human anatomy for about 20 years now. And several years ago, I started researching very specifically the relationships that I have observed over this time between the living and the dead. And so I've traveled to several anatomy labs across the country and did video recordings of students working with human donors. I've interviewed about 80 people, including anatomists, anatomy students, members of the clergy, registered anatomical donors, morticians, and anatomical gift program directors, to name a few. So right now I'm in the process of writing a book about these relationships. And the most interesting thing that I've observed is the transformation of the students from day one. They're extremely quiet, hands folded, safety glasses on, just waiting for directions. So they go from that on day one to scientific inquiry in like a moment. And every student is different. The journey is different for every student. So it's interesting to watch as that sort of unfolds before me. I've had more than 20 years of watching people in the anatomy lab and watching the way that they interact and engage with this person who can't help them at all physically. You know, you need to move the person, they can't help. They don't speak, they can't make eye contact. And you're not there to heal them, but you're there to learn as much as you can so that you can heal others in the future. So it's pretty amazing opportunity to see students as they progress from anxious to quite competent and confident with the anatomy and with themselves at doing something that most people never get to do. The book is meant to appeal to a broad audience. This book would be for any student who's going to take human anatomy, any student who's taken human anatomy, anatomists, people who are interested in becoming registered anatomical donors. I also think it would appeal to a broader audience of people who are just interested in medical education. And because my perspective is very humanistic in the way that I treat my non-living colleagues, in the way that I treat my donors, in the way that I treat the subject matter about talking about all this. So there's the science to human anatomy, but I think there's the spirituality to it as well, and I think it will hit a home run with that one.